Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk with Saieed Ali. I am your host Saeed. We do want to thank you for joining us tonight, Tuesday the 12th of July 2022. So remember viewers, we are on Facebook, Real Talk with Saieed Ali. We are on YouTube, TT Real Talk. Subscribe, hit the bell and you will know when we go live. So viewers, there's a rerun of this program tomorrow from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Do join us if you miss our live show from Monday to Friday, 7 to 8 p.m. Call a friend, call a family, let them know Real Talk with Saieed is going live. Also, remember viewers, go on your Facebook account, search Real Talk with Saieed Ali Newsroom, and you're good to go. Just like, share, and that's it. You will get daily updates of whatever happens in Trinidad and Tobago on our page. Remember viewers, I'm a licensed money lender. Those of you who are looking for cash borrow is not a problem. You have gold, you have house, you have land, you have cars. As long as you're not owing on it, that will be your security or collateral that I will hold in order to do business with you. Also, Real Talk Group of Companies offering you 3.5% on a hard-earned cash on a 3-year investment with us, which would lead you to a 10.5% on your hard-earned cash for 3 years. Where do you get that? Nowhere in Trinidad and Tobago, but at Real Talk Group of Company. You can contact me at 238-6716, 339-1670, or 267-7325, and our South Office at 242-7690. Remember, South Office is a sub office. You can go in there, you can find out about loans, or you can contact me direct at 339-1670. You can also WhatsApp me on 267-7325 viewers, and we'll give you all the information you need. So as we start off our program tonight viewers, just a little update. The Commissioner of Police, McDonald Jacob, wishes to advise that the public of the processing of application for import permit for pepper spray will begin this week. He stated that the processing of application for the permit to import pepper spray into the country begins on Wednesday the 13th of July 2022. Retailers can begin submitting application forms from August 1st, 2022, while applications permit for individual to use and carry will begin on 30th of August 2022. Importers must indicate on the application what they are importing and allow for a period of 1 to 2 weeks for the investigation process. It's obvious they will have to investigate you. Pepper spray fall under the Firearm Act, but nevertheless, as long as you're clean, you're legit, we're good to go. So that's just an update. Now we go down to our story. Restaurant owner has stated that when the mask mandate ends on July 17th, it will be optional for the workers to continue wearing the mask while serving customers. So it's an option to the workers whether you wear the mask or you do not wear the mask. You have until July 17th before it becomes non-available. Minister of Health Terence Singh last week announced that effective July 17th of July, the wearing of masks will no longer be mandatory except for visitors to any health facility in Trinidad and Tobago. Ryan Chan, director at Daishin Group of Companies, which include Texas de Brazil, Jack's, International Grill, and others, stated that he welcomed the news as workers were finding it difficult to breathe with the mask in kitchen. Trin added that all restaurants would still be equipped with hand sanitizers and temperatures testing would not be so stringent as before. So viewers, on July 17th, no mask mandatory wearing in Trinidad and Tobago. You can go to the bar, you can go to the play park, you can go anywhere without a mask. But it is optional when you're visiting health centers throughout Trinidad and Tobago. So let's keep that in mind. The Police Service of Trinidad and Tobago has stated that 477 of the 1,000 body cameras received in March of this year have been distributed among all 9 division task force members in Trinidad and the Traffic and Highway Patrol Branch. A total of 541 officers were trained in the use of body worn cameras, with 90% of these officers attached to 9 divisional task force in Trinidad and the Traffic and Highway Patrol branch also. Trinidad and Tobago, first allocation of 22 cameras, and training will commence for officers in the division next week, while 80 more cameras will be allocated before the end of the month. So viewers, officers will be wearing body cameras throughout Trinidad and Tobago. So do look out for the officers with the camera. Remember, I always say, when you resist arrest, that's a charge by itself. Resisting arrest, assaulting an officer while on duty, disorderly conduct, attacking an officer. All this is charge can be laid against you when you go against an officer. I always say, when an officer come to you, whether you're right or you're wrong, allow him to do his duty. You will get your day. You will get your day. I always say that. Now, resisting arrest and assaulting an officer, it carries fines behind it. It will also give you a stain on your character. Do you really want that? I always say this. A centralizing management system for recording videos has been put in place and is currently undergoing the requisite configuration prior to being active. More officers will also be trained in the use of the camera and additional distribution across TNT. Now, it is expected by the end of August 2022. So, citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, please be advised that officers will be wearing body cameras by the end of August 2022 in Trinidad and Tobago. So whatever it is that you come at the officer with, you will be recorded. And if you are held and locked up, these videos that they will be storing, they're going to use those videos to build a case against you. So I am just letting you know that when an officer come to you, they come to arrest you, make sure they have a warrant, and go nice and easy. Let them do their investigations. You will get your day in court. Your family will get their time to save the money or to look for a bailer to take you out. But you will have your day. Resisting an arrest brings a lot of charges on you. And I have been saying that from time and time again, because we have been seeing a lot of videos circulating on social platforms throughout Trinidad and Tobago where people resisting arrest. The more you resist, it's the more case come upon you. So please keep that in mind. Please keep that in mind. It will benefit you. 2386716, it's Tune It Up Tuesday. Feel free to call in Trinidad and Tobago. While the public health guidelines were being enforced to curb the spread of COVID-19 virus for almost 2 years, for the past 2 years, the fine generated for those persons who were in breach of the regulation has raked in millions of dollars in revenue for the state. According to TTPS, more than $32 million in fine were generated from mask or not wearing a mask and safe zone violations. During the period September 2020 to June this year, 27,664 no face mask tickets were issued, while during October 2021 and March 2022, 404 safe zone violations were detected. In total, the TTPS indicated that 27,664 tickets were issued for failing to wear masks, generating over $27 million or $27,664,000 to be exact in revenue. So look at money now. Meanwhile, during a period October 2021 and March 2022, 271 patrons and 133 proprietors were issued tickets for safe zone violation. According to TTPS, the total value of tickets were approximately $5 million. Look how easy the government making money. Look how easy. Now, they're making the money, yes, but where is the money going? Where is the money going? Do we know where this sum is going? Do we know what's the intention of the Treasury on how they are going to spend this money that is being generated? Anybody working in the Treasury could come out and say something. We would love to hear. We would love to hear of how this money is being spent. Health Minister Terence Dial Singh is advising parents who are sending their children to vacation camp to get them vaccinated against COVID-19. He stated that regular childhood vaccination against diseases such as measles, mumps, rubella, polio, and yellow fever were back to normal level required for herd immunity after a shortfall earlier in the year, with the exception of polio. So viewers, according to the health minister, all these virus automatically came back to Trinidad after a 2-year vacation because of COVID-19. How sad, eh? How sad. Moms came back from vacation. Measles came back from vacation. Rubella came back from vacation. Polio came back from vacation. Yellow fever came back into the country. Just imagine that. All these viruses that were here during the COVID-19, they pack up our luggage and they traveled out of Trinidad. Because it was only COVID and COVID and COVID and COVID. I remember that. Gone were the days of a flu. Gone were the days of a yellow fever. Gone were the days of mumps. If you visit a health center and you sneeze, well, that is the day. Do a test and COVID. You go with a slight flu, it's COVID. Anything you go with is COVID. Now that these viruses are back in Trinidad, they're back from vacation, they're here to work now, they are saying added that the polio vaccine, or the vaccination rate, is at 94%. And the ministry is looking for a further 200 children to bring it back up to 95. He said that the anti-vax message around COVID-19 that had the effect of frightening parents away from vaccination in general, which is a worldwide trend. Listen to the Minister of Health.
I believe last week that the polio vaccination rate is about 1% off. We are supposed to be at 95%. At that time, we were at 94%. And we were looking for a further 200 children to bring us back up to 95%. I recall saying last week that the polio virus was found in sewage in London, which is a bit of a concern. And I did say at that time that the anti-vaccine messages being put out by a certain group of individuals had the unintended consequence of frightening parents away from vaccination in general. Because remember, a lot of laypersons, when they hear all this misinformation about COVID vaccines for children, they don't necessarily make a distinction between COVID vaccine and vaccines. And this is the feedback we are getting from around the world.
Remember, viewers, those of you looking for cash borrow, not a problem. Contact Saieed or contact the secretary of Realtalk Group of Companies. You're looking for cash? It's easy as 1, 2, 3. You just have to have collateral, which is gold, house, land, or even a vehicle. As long as you're not owing on any of these items, you can contact us at 2386716, 3391670. 267-7325, or you can contact our South office at 242-7690. Remember, I am licensed to lend. We love to lend. We love to assist you in a little hard times. As long as you have your collateral to present to us, it is not a problem. We love to lend to make you happy. That's the idea. We love to lend to make you happy. Also, viewers, we are backed by popular demand. We are offering you 3.5% on a hard-earned cash at our fixed deposit system set up in Realtalk Group of Company. 3.5% for a year. That is 3,500 and 100,000. And if you do that for 3 years, 10.5%. 10.5% on 100,000. How much you getting? Check it up. How much you getting? 10,500. Where else in Trinidad? In any other institution you getting that? Nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. Nowhere, nowhere, nowhere. So contact us, viewers. Our office on 14 Carolina Savannah Road in Sugarwaners. Our office number is 2386716 or 3391670. Our South office, Cipero Road, Victoria Village in San Fernando. 242-7690. Call our rep, talk to them, or you can contact me direct at 339-1670. You can WhatsApp me at 267-7325. Remember, I love to lend to make you happy. God has made me happy. God has made me happy. So in return now, I will make you happy. Long ago they used to trade. They used to trade. We still do trade here. We still do trade. The minister stated, health minister stated, that within the new school term, there is the return to the proven system where to get into a primary school. There must be evidence of your vaccination status. He urged parents to ignore the noise and misinformation from those who do not have their best interests at heart. Listen to this.
What we look forward to with the new school term is a return to the old tried and proven system where to get into a primary school you have to show evidence of your vaccination status. So we look forward to that and urge parents to ignore the noise, ignore the misinformation, ignore the disinformation being put out by persons. They don't have your best interest at heart, and we have been vaccinating children for these childhood diseases for decades and decades and decades with no issue.
Now, viewers, I want to believe the Prime Minister is talking about being vaccinated for measles, mumps, rubella, polio, and yellow fever. These are the vaccine that I believe he is talking about. It can't be COVID-19. Now, if you want to enter into a primary school, you know, long ago they used to give you an immunization card. When you go to register from first year, you have to present that card to make sure that you have all your vaccine. It is a requirement. It is a must back in the day. So the Minister of Health is just reiterating and reminding us that come to the new school term in September, when you want to enter your probably 3 years, 4 years, 5-year-old child into a primary school, you must have these vaccine. And it goes as mumps, measles, rubella, polio, and yellow fever. So if you know you're going to sign up for your child to go to a primary school, make sure and get them vaccinated for these vaccines. So I also looking for persons of interest. Visham Budram. Visham, Contact Realtor Group of Companies. You have unfinished business, or you can contact me at 3391670 or 2386716. You have unfinished business with the company. Please contact them and don't be on the run. We're also looking for persons of interest. Darian Stanley. Darian, we had a little business going on. You fulfill part of your business. Kindly contact me to fulfill the other part of the arrangement. Otherwise, I will continue showing your photo on national television for the rest of this week. My numbers are 2386716 or 3391670. Any one of these numbers, call it, contact us, come in, sit with us, and we will have a reasonable discussion and we will go forward from there. So Darian Stanley and Visham Bujram. Just click back, Visham. Visham, get in touch with Realtor Group of Companies or get in touch with me, Saeed. You have unfinished business. I don't think, Visham, you would want me to continue putting your picture on television so the world or Trinidad and Tobago, even your friends will see. I don't think you want that. So get in touch with us. So viewers, as we return back to our program tonight, angered by the constant looting of state infrastructure by scrappian iron thieves, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley is considering a ban on the entire industry. The Prime Minister did not mince his word about the impact these thieves have on the country and the state, that there are persons in society who are making a living by destroying TNT infrastructure. He listed a few, which includes manhole covers, cables, and cutting of water line. Listen to the Prime Minister.
There are persons in our society, and I hope it is not that they have a right to do so. There are persons in our society who are now taking the position that they do not care who they harm, but they make a living by destroying our infrastructure to be able to market the materials from which the infrastructure is made. And pick it up in our country, manhole cover, doesn't matter if you fall in the hole and break your neck or kill your child or kill your wife. Manhole cover, they're selling that. Cable, they cut the cable. Now they're cutting the water lines. And it doesn't matter how many hundreds or thousands of persons are inconvenienced or hurt. But that market is now thriving.
Kola, good night.
Very good evening to you, Mr. Saeed.
To you, my friend.
So every time an industry have a problem, this man only solution is to shut down everything?
Shut down.
The industry needs regulating. As simple as that. Look how much women, young women, have been brutally murdered and attacked and raped and what have you by PH drivers. Is he considering scrapping PH drivers too? I have one word for Mr. Rowley and the President and the government tonight. Sri Lanka, all the best.
Several weeks ago, thieves hit a water booster station in Thick Village, Superior, leaving some 40,000 customers without a pipe-borne water supply. The most relevant thief has been that of overhead cables belonging to TSTT. And in the past 2 years, 2 persons were electrocuted while trying to steal overhead lines. That incident had come just days after the Trinidad and Tobago Scrap Iron Dealers Association called for a ban on copper export. However, the PM hinted he may go much further. He asked now that the Attorney General to consider a significant period of time to prevent the marketing of used metal in TNT. Listen to this.
As a matter of national security, I have asked the Attorney General to consider whether we should not, from here on in, and for some restricted period of time, prevent the marketing of used metals in Trinidad and Tobago. I have asked the Attorney General to look at it, to see what is available to the government, so that we can try and protect the population from this kind of behavior.
Caller, good night.
Good evening, Mr. Saieed.
My friend.
Saieed, Rowley has been the Prime Minister for 7+ years in Trinidad and Tobago so far, right? And he went all over the world in different summits and all these kind of things with plenty heads of government summits he has in. If somebody in Trinidad and Tobago could identify one initiative that come out from the last 7 years that Rowley went to all these heads of state, government and things, that brought any kind of economic growth to Trinidad and Tobago, I would like to know. And the reason why I'm asking this is that most of the times when Rowley has to talk during this conference, he will probably be the last person to speak, or they wouldn't have no audience left for him to talk to. We see that on many occasions. And then when you come back to Trinidad, and we see the type of development under this government for the last 7 years, and the contribution that he has made, every single thing that is an issue in this country, his solution to it is shut it down. So we had, when they were giving out the laptops to the children, people complain that they're using the laptop for other things besides schoolwork. He stopped that. They had a little issue with the Petrotrin and his friend, he shut down that. Now we have this issue with the scrap iron dealers. His solution to doing that now is to shut it down. So you're going to shut down another industry where people is making a livelihood. Okay, yes, maybe have one or two delinquents that do illegal activities, but that is the purpose of a police service in the country, to deal with crime and situation that's taking place. So every time something is an issue that is brought forward in front of Rowley, his solution to it is to shut it down. That's why you see nobody wants any type of dialogue with this Prime Minister that Trinidad and Tobago have, because he have no idea of any sort of economic stimulant for any region. And he has always been left behind and left out of situation, because people know his attitude, they know his behavior, and they know he's a man who is just a big waste of our time. Have a good night, Mr. Saieed.
Thank you, my friend. So now, viewers, seeing that the Prime Minister have said that, my question to you tonight, do you think the scrap iron industry should be shut down until this problem is resolved? Because with the theft of cable, we have cable station given problems, we have internet given problems, we have transaction given problems, we have wire transaction given problems. Do you think the government of Trinidad and Tobago should shut down the industry until this problem is rectified? I am not saying they do, they should. I am not saying they shouldn't. I want to hear from you. Now, the PM further noted that these thieves do not care about how many people they hurt by their actions. When the idea of a ban was raised weeks ago, Trade and Industry Minister Paula Gopi-Schoon initially said this was not something the government was considering. So viewers, do you think there should be a ban on the scrap iron industry? Caller, good night.
Hi, good night, sir.
Go right ahead, you're live on Real Talk.
Good night, sir. Yes, sir. So my little contribution is that they don't have to stop the scrap iron because of one reason, that people throughout in the country, there are a lot of old metal, waste, rubbish, dump which is there. They take it and try to recycle, send it wherever to recycle. But on the other hand, we have the military sitting down there 24/7. We have some police officers sitting on air-conditioned vehicles all day watching, eating, government. Let them do their job by going and protecting the people, going and throwing the places, going and doing their job in the night, in the day, and stop this thing. The scrap iron thing really helps the poor people. And if by chance, with respect to you, the government will send the police out there, send the military out there, then they're going to patrol the areas. I live in a residential area, they put people right through. And if you shoot them with respect, my son is so good, oh, he is so good, oh, he needs to go to church. It's about time, sir, with respect, we put our foot down, tell the government, stop feeding the military, send them out there, send the police officers, and do what they have to do. Gary Griffith was the right man for them, sir. And thank you for your contribution. May God always bless you, sir.
Thank you, my friend. Now, making a case for the poor, President of the Scrap Iron Dealers Association, Alan Ferguson, has pleaded with Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley not to shut down the industry as it will put thousands of persons on welfare. Ferguson stated that the Trinidad and Tobago Scrap Iron Dealers Association wants to work with Attorney General Regional Amo to find solution. He was confident that the parties could find answer to theft and vandalism of state infrastructure by some dealers. He said there were only about 8 scrap yards that export copper. One proposal to deal with exporting stolen copper was to have the police or custom and excise division officers present when loading shipping container. This would ensure what enters the container are the particulars of export documents. Ferguson added that the scrap iron industry tries to prevent the government from reaching this point. He also states that shutting down the industry would also affect several shipping and transport companies and scrapyards. Ferguson also believed crime would worsen if more people falls into unemployment. So I want to hear from you, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, on this issue, because throughout Trinidad and Tobago there are lines hanging all over the streets, in the capital city, in the country, in the lonely areas, throughout Trinidad and Tobago, wherever there are lines passing, copper running into lines, they're thieving it. And the Prime Minister rightfully said they're moving with iron from all over. They're cutting out bridge rails, they're moving with your gates, they're moving with manhole covers. I mean, something needs to be done. Something needs to be done. Yes, we understand hundreds of people would be on the broadline, but keep in mind, theft is going on. Manhole covers are missing. Bridge rail are going. Gates are being stolen. Anywhere there is scrap side in the road, somebody going with it. Cable cutting throughout Trinidad and Tobago. Transactions are being faulted. Cable are being faulted. Internet are being faulted. Why? Because of the theft of copper lines. So what are we going to do with this? How are we going to address it? And according to the Prime Minister, to address this situation, we need to shut down the industry. I could understand hundreds of people will be on the breadline, you know. I could understand that. But you think it's easy for a customer and excise officer to stand by a container and watch that full? You think it's easy? It's not. It's not an easy task. It's not an easy task. If they're cutting the lines for copper, well then shut down the copper industry. Shut it down. It is the only way to fix that problem. That problem. Caller, good night.
Hello, good night, sir.
My friend, talk to me.
Yeah, they could pass a bill
for the procurement bill to give people license to thief.
Yeah.
And all they have to do is pass a bill in law that when you catch a man in these things, thieving, copper and all these things, you give 30 years jail, hard labor, and go straighten out the situation. That's about it.
Thank you, my friend. You know, this is a serious thing, you know. It is a very, very serious thing. Prime Minister Dr. Saieed Ali has stated that the government will be pumping financial resources into tackling the social root of what is driving criminality in the national's children or the nation's children. Dr. Rowley said he often visits primary schools to interact with the pupils who are all less than 12 years old and are likely angels. Call a good night.
Good night, Saeed.
Go right ahead, my friend.
People talking about who thieving Papa and who thieving this and who thieving that and who creating crime. The biggest crime in this country is the government. Because when you're here, your whole people are for minor crime, you're letting them go off free. What about when they're thieving all these that are cocaine and things and they say they disappear from the police station? What happened to the 300-something thousand of kilos of cocaine down Mona's Island?
Correct.
That disappeared and nobody had nothing to say. What about the man who say he's just a yard boy? Everybody know that no little Negro fella and no little Indian fella have no millions of dollars to bring these drugs in.
Correct.
What about the police them the area who know they have so much of guns and customs? They gonna take up the gun before they wait and set up a sting operation to see who coming for it. What about all these criminals they bought getting hard labor? Them ain't getting no hard labor, them getting loving when they go in jail. They getting TV and cell phone. Which part the hard labor they? Years ago they was the boss bullers.
Yeah.
What is the hard labor now? All over the world in America, Canada, England, prisoners had to support themselves inside here. From tailor, from carpenter, from mechanic, from tradesman, from people who mine an animal. But in we country, we had to spend $300 and something behind a prisoner each day to keep them inside there and make them happy. Who is the biggest crime in this country? The government. You have a minister of national security, he failed as a policeman. You have one of them, he's minister of finance, but he might be named Bachak. You understand? God won't know, they put in square pegs in wrong hole. And you hear what they tell them in the past? You know what the minister, the prime minister, the PNM telling me one time? I could put a crapo in Lavantil with jacket and tie. Or you could still vote for we. What a shame them people are knowing the difference between a crapo and a human being. We go talk again, Saeed.
Thank you, my friend. Now, stay with the Prime Minister and tackling the criminality in children. He stated that by the time children get the age of 15, there is a pattern of behavior in the secondary schools that is unacceptable. By the age of 17, a wave of violence is unleashed. Listen to the Prime Minister.
Every so often, I go to the primary schools in this country and I interact with primary school children. And I could tell you that interaction tells me that our children at that age, they're largely angels. Every single one of them, look at them in the face and they come across to you as, you know, you want to defend them, you want to make sure they have a future, you want to make sure you do right by them. They're all less than 12 years old. By the time they get to age 15, there's a pattern of behavior in the secondary schools that gets more and more unacceptable. But the bottom line is by age 15, we have a cohort of the population that is beginning to demonstrate a penchant for violence that is unacceptable. By the time they get to age 17 and they come out of the school, they're no longer under the school disciplinary umbrella. They're now out there in the society, some of them working, some of them liming, some of them training to handle firearms. And a whole wave of violence is unleashed.
The Prime Minister said something is happening in schools where some children are angels in the primary school system and then demons when they enter secondary school. He added that this problem stems from poor parenting.
And you ask yourself, what would have happened between the primary school angels and the demons that the police is confronting from time to time? What would have happened? And I want to say to my fellow citizens today that something is happening inside there that needs to be found, needs to be addressed. Otherwise, this cycle will only get further and further away from us, and it will only get worse. And I could tell you too, I'm not an expert in this matter. I'm open to advice, but I'm not entirely without a few brain cells. So I can come to a conclusion now before I'm advised that a significant portion of the difficulty in this country is poor parenting. Poor parenting.
Caller, good night.
Good evening again, Mr. Saieed. Saieed, I had a call back. Because you see, when this man come and talking this as a rubbish to the nation, and nobody don't confront him, it is sound like, you know, he got brushing a pit here that everybody in this country responsible for the dotations that he's seeing. You see, everything that this country is reaping here, and the position that we are here today, is because of the seed that Eric Williams planted under the PNM. Rowley right now come like he nurturing that seed. And this is what this society is and how it is today because of the Eric Williams, the PNM, and this same Prime Minister that we have in governance here for the last 7 years. Now we could come and demonize the population and call the children demons and all these kind of things. But these are the same people every 5 years is going to the communities and hug them up.
Correct.
And dance with them left foot, right foot.
Yes.
Back foot, front foot. And let them vote for them. And then neglect them for the next 5 years. Give them no hope, no opportunities, nothing to look forward for. And when they're suffering, they might pass through and give them a little hamper of food card. And keep the people vulnerable, keep them illiterate, keep them in fear that the only hope that I have is to vote for the PNM. Because first thing they would do, they would start with the racist few. Nobody else beside who looks like me would come and help all you. So that alone, with being vulnerable and being fearful, you are thinking nothing else besides voting for PNM. So all this that he's talking here now, and people would not confront them fellas and let them know what time it is. There's a whole half of this population we don't depend on guidance from Rowley and the PNM and things, that educating them children, their children, and providing means of giving them a future and a hope. It might not be in Trinidad but somewhere else. And these people who have a next population looking forward because they don't know where to turn to, thinking that a betterment would come, and whatever means they have in survival, they come in now when things out of control. Let me tell you, 19,000 people coming out of the education system every year, you know.
Yes.
Young adults, you know.
Yes.
We have nowhere to turn to, you know, because this government, the PNM, have not provided nothing in the last 7 years for anybody to look to have a future in this country, you know. And whatever means they trying to survive from, whether it's just even copper wire or manhole cover or some kind of thing, the people have to live.
Yeah.
What else they do? So when you shut down that now, where are they going to turn to now? How are they going to survive? How are they going to feed their families and their children? Remember, in some homes, 18, 19 years, your parents will be comfortable still keeping you and minding you. But in some homes, by the time you reach 15 years, you are a fend for yourself, you know. Because the 7, 8 mouths to feed with one single parent working in KFC or some kind of thing, that's the reality of what Eric Williams and the PNM have created for this country, you know. And if people feel Haiti and Sri Lanka and thing is something that you can only watch on news, that coming right here in Trinidad and Tobago very, very soon, you know. It's only a matter of time. Good night, Mr. Sai.
Thank you, my friend. Now, the PM urged parents and guardians to reflect on whether they are exercising their responsibilities in looking after their children. Dr. Rowley noted that the next month marks 7 years since this country has been under his leadership, and note that hundreds of millions of dollars were spent in security and the justice system. Are we seeing change in the justice system? Are we seeing change in security? Cases still take years to finish without a speedy trial. We can't have policemen everywhere in Trinidad because we only have about 7,000 officers in TTPS. Now, the Prime Minister, he further added that the government is going to direct more resources into this issue at this time because it is required. You heard the Prime Minister? It is required. So they're going to put more funding into it. What are they actually going to fund? What are they actually going to fund? How much resources are they willing to put in to rude children or children misbehaving in schools? Who are they going to fund? Who are they going to fund? How are they going to fix this problem? More money wasting? We'll wait and see. Dr. Rowley stated that the government must now direct resources to find out what is going on between 10-year-old and 17-year-old, adding that if this is not dealt with, the country may lose its balance and spin off in pain and destruction. To the Prime Minister.
The government is going to direct more resources to this issue at this time because it is required. Something is happening between our 9 and 10-year-olds and our 17-year-olds that is causing our society to be what it is. We must now direct resources to finding what is going on in this vacuum between the 10-year-olds and the 17-year-olds and set about to produce a better citizen in Trinidad and Tobago. Because if we don't do that, McDonald Jacob will retire eventually. John Jones will become the commissioner. Mary Tom will become the deputy commissioner. And this is going to go on and on and on. And we're going to be on this merry-go-round until we lose our balance and spin off in pain and destruction.
Now I'm going to tell you something. The Prime Minister do not need to spend millions of dollars in finding out what is taking place between 10-year-old and 17-year-old. You don't need to spend money. You don't need to allocate more money and waste it. What the Ministry of Education needs to do is to have a disciplined order in primary school and secondary school. You don't need to allocate millions of dollars, kids. You don't need to do that. You have a minister in the Ministry of Education, proper planning, proper execution, proper penalty. I will tell you something. If I have a student going to Tablan High School, that's in the Tablan area. Listen to this. A guy, a student, 2 boys. One student sent a text message to a student that, hey, I will beat you up if you don't leave that girl. You're in secondary school, you know. You're under 18. You're probably about 14, 15, somewhere around there. And you texting another student, telling that student, if you don't leave this girl, I will beat you. You know what the student did? The student colored A student, student A, colored student B, and threatened him. Physically colored him. The parent of that student contacted me. They contacted me. How do you deal with that? Do you spend millions of dollars to try and fix that problem? No, Keith. No, don't do that. You're wasting money. You have a minister in the education ministry. Allow them to implement corporal punishment in school. That's all you have to do. Long ago in school they had corporal punishment. Today in school, when you hear when a student commits a crime by beating up an ex-student, you get suspended for 7 days. Does that help somebody else with a bus head? I don't care who the parents is. I don't care if your father is Jacob. I don't care if your father is Sipasad. I don't care if your father is an top lawyer. I don't business. You're in my system. You're in the school. You go in my laws. Otherwise, I will suspend you from the school. It's that simple. So Keith Rowley, what you're talking is total rubbish. Total rubbish by allocating funds to find out what's going on from 10-year-old to 17-year-old. You're wasting time, Mr. Prime Minister. You have more serious issue that needs your attention. Leave that for the Ministry of Education. Implement the corporal punishment in school and let them deal with it. Let them deal with it. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, Trinidad and Tobago. Anytime any student interfere with my children in school, let me tell you something. I will make sure that student gets suspended from that school with immediate effect. You cannot come back there. You cannot come back there. I do business who your father is. Because just how your father working to send you into that school, just how the other parents working to send their children to that school. So Keith Rowley, the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, you're talking tata. You're talking donkey mess, cow mess, goat mess. Or is it that the treasury have too much money, you all just feel to nip some? Call her good night. Hello?
Yes, sorry, good night.
My friend, go right ahead.
Saieed, I listened to the program there. The Prime Minister, serious when he talking about Jacob retiring. We would not wait so long for him to retire from this level. You think this country could take any more on you, I don't know, I just asking a question here.
I understand
on a real though, right? Everything will start from home by Saieed. Everything will start from home.
Correct.
You see what has happened, right? Where Keith Rowley don't understand, and he gone on that podium and talking with the arrogance that he always have. Ignorance and the arrogance. He will never find out that problem. Everything will start from home by Saieed.
Correct.
When two parents are at work and have nobody to supervise their children, what do you think going to happen? When you have one single parent and the next parent studying to buy the best brand, studying to buy Jordan, and you can't buy school book for the children, what do you think going to happen? When one parent alone work inside and have nobody to take care of the children, what do you think going to happen?
Yes.
Any children going to go astray? It's only common sense that it start from home. The teachers can't fix everything in school by side.
True.
It don't work that way. So I don't know what it is he's trying. I don't know what it is he's trying to say this. What he's trying to tell her in a smart way is you have to spend a couple $100 million and that will go in somebody's pocket and the problem not going on fixed. It's as simple as that. It has nothing else you can say. But I just want to touch on something too. The last call I talked about Eric Williams. The man talks sense there, because everything starts from Eric Williams days. You understand? And I was talking to somebody and they was enlightening me to how the PNM was back then side. I'm going to tell you something. You know Eric Williams died in office, right? When he died in office, it had two people that were supposed to take over that prime ministerial post. It was either Kamaluddin Mohammed or Errol Mahabir, right? And you know what was the talk of the tongue back then? The talk of the tongue back then was that they don't want a fully prime minister in this country, or that PNM prime minister. And they already put in George Chambers. So see how that starts from way back then, when all this race thing started with politics. was from Eric William days when he was founding father of that racism thing, you know. Anyway, sir, you enjoy your night.
You too, my friend. So you see, viewers, hear this now. Acting leader of government business, Paula Gopi-Skoon, has stated that an interministerial committee is working to develop a policy to deal with violence in school. She stated that the analysts, or when they analyze data on school violence, has identified 16 secondary schools that have the highest rate of school violence. Listen to this.
The well-being of students and teachers is at the forefront of the Ministry of Education's developmental goals. The gravity of school violence and its impact on communities cannot be overstated. An analysis of the data on school violence and indiscipline has identified 16 secondary schools that have the highest rates of school violence. At least 7 of these schools exhibited the following characteristics. High percentage of Form 1 students who scored under 30% in the SEA, high levels of indiscipline, high absenteeism, and low levels of CSEC achievement.
Now look at this, eh? Gopi-Skoon is a trade minister. Gopi-Skoon is a trade minister. And also the leader of government business. Acting leader of government business. What happened? Trinidad and Tobago and viewers of Real Talk with Saieed Ali. What happened to the Minister of Education? The acting leader of government business have to present this. Where the hell is the Minister of Education? Where is she? In Trinidad, we have firefighters doing police work. Yeah. We have ministers that holding supposed to be national security minister. We hear in works and transport. When works and transport supposed to go on, we hear in Wasa minister. What the hell going on with these ministers on their portfolio? They haven't mixed up like kalalu on a Sunday dish. Where is the Minister of Education? She is the one supposed to be addressing school violence. Where is she? Did she take a backseat? Is she in Trinidad? Does she have COVID? Is she away? Where the hell is the Education Minister? Why is she not dealing with this issue? We have a trade minister coming, acting leader of government business, to talk about violence in school and to create a policy. This damn country, the leaders, they're upside down. They're not working with their portfolios at all. Paula's supposed to be making some kind of headway in some trade for Trinidad and Tobago. She talking about school violence. She talking about school violence. No wonder why we upside down, because no minister can act on their direct portfolio. And that is the problem. Where's the Minister of Education? Is Gasby Dolly, I believe? Where is she? Nevertheless, viewers, we are out of time for tonight. It's Tuesday, the 12th of July. Stay tuned on Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. for our Public Concerns Night, viewers. There's a rerun of this program from 11:30 to 12:30 tomorrow. And we'll be back with you on Wednesday, the 13th of July for our Public Concerns. Until we meet again, Al-Amba Rahamasuru Ba'ile Anta Ilazur. You want to lead in a direction that you are not called for. Abazunno Rokoma Allah. Until we meet again, good night.